Hello everyone and welcome to Football Newsroom for the preview of matchday 17 of the Premier League and of La Liga. There are some very important clashes to keep an eye on this weekend and we will cover the importance of these games, what they mean to each team and how will it affect the league table. Moreover, we will be covering some recent transfer rumours that has been going on recently across Europe. We have got a lot of things to cover, so without further ado, let's move on. Kicking off with the Premier League, Man City will travel to the Emirates Stadium to face struggling Arsenal. Now, things are pretty clear about Man City. They need to win every game right now. They cannot afford to lose a single point. That simply cannot happen. Guardiola must make the required changes in order to get them back at their full potential. Back to the Man City we saw the past 2 seasons. And deep down we all know guys they can do it. You look at their performance midweek, even though they got behind initially, they thrashed Dinamo Zagreb and by the end of the game it was 4-1. Jesus scored a hat-trick and he looks to be in fine touch. Moreover, as we had said in the match review of the Manchester derby, maybe, just maybe, it is time for someone like Foden and Gundogan to step up and play a few important games. Foden of course scored a goal midweek in their 4-1 win and Gundogan also started the game. But to be honest, it wasn't really a very important game as they had already qualified for the round of 16. They need to start in the more important games as the aging David Silva is not really looking at his very best form. Now, moving over to Arsenal's point of view, Arsenal can hurt Man City with their pace up front. Players like Aubameyang and Nicola Pepe can hurt them in the counter-attacks and City's midfield line needs to stay a little closer to the defensive line. As we had seen in the Manchester derby, Man United had constantly exploited space in between the lines and this often initiated a lot of counter-attacks. This has to stop and maybe Rodri staying a little deeper can help them. Otherwise, I believe they really have it in their team to go on and overcome this Arsenal side. With a proper shape at the back and clinical finishing up front, overcoming Arsenal shouldn't be difficult. The Premier League leaders Liverpool will face Watford who currently stand last in the 20th spot. We haven't really got much to add to either teams before this game. Their performance obviously reveals their position in the league. The only thing we would like to add is that Liverpool still face another injury blow as Dejan Lovren is set to miss this game after getting injured against Salzburg midweek. Klopp recently said that this injury is a little more serious muscular injury than the one before and he will surely be missing the game. We expect Joe Gomez to be the obvious replacement and even though he is not a proper centre-back, he still has the experience of playing there before and we believe he can do a very good job. In the other games of the Premier League, Chelsea will face Bournemouth and Man United will host Everton. Everton will be confident before coming into this game. Even though they didn't really enjoy such a good season so far and have even sacked their manager recently, they beat Chelsea 3-1 last week. Of course, it's going to be a very different atmosphere at Old Trafford and with Man United's current run of form, we don't really expect such a shocking result. But that said, anything can happen in a game of football and we won't really rule out a victory for Everton. Now, moving over to Spain, both Real Madrid and Barcelona have very difficult clashes this week. Barca will face Sociedad this Saturday and if you look at the league table right now, Sociedad currently stand at 4th spot. Yes, that's how good they have been in this season so far. La Liga has been far more competitive and a lot more difficult for these mid-table teams and obviously staying at the top 4 is never easy. The whole team is really doing a very good job and their young man Martin Odegaard is having an excellent season so far. He has clearly found his life back at the Anoeta and is also drawing a lot of attention across Europe again. He has scored 3 goals and made 4 assists this season and has a pass accuracy of 85%. He is just 20 years old and is really a bad spark, someone that we might enjoy watching in the future. But to be honest, it's not just about Odegaard. The whole team is performing at their very best level. They have beaten many big teams so far this season, including Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona's trip to Anoeta, as always, is not going to be a very easy one. Now, before coming into this game, Barcelona fans will be very delighted as their young side did an excellent job to beat Inter midweek. Going to the San Siro and winning with a youth side is never easy and even more so when Inter were desperate to win. They obviously deserve a lot of praise. But the only thing with this Barcelona side that concerns me is their inconsistency in terms of performance. Sometimes they rise up to the occasion and everyone seems to be in fine form, as we saw last week against Valladolid. But again, if you look back at this season, Barca have underperformed at many games and just managed to escape with a draw in some way. They clearly need to improve on that front, and with the Clásico around the corner, they have to play at their very best level. They don't want to approach the Clásico staying second in La Liga, and they must win the game. Moving over to Real Madrid, they visit the Mestalla this Sunday and will face a very tricky test against Valencia. Even though Valencia stand at 8th spot, there is only a point difference between them and 4th placed Sociedad. Moreover, they will be very confident before coming into this game, as they won a very difficult game against Ajax and eliminated them to move on to the round of 16 of the Champions League. Winning against this Ajax side is extremely difficult, and even more so at their home in Amsterdam. But they did an excellent job against all odds and will be clearly looking forward for a similar result against Real Madrid. As I said before, away from home on the Mestalla is never going to be easy, and Real Madrid need to keep up their current level of performance to beat them. Their young forwards did an excellent job midweek, and they really need to step up in this game as well, as Hazard is still out injured. We expect to see Courtois, Ramos, Carvajal, Benzema, and even Valverde, who has just been excellent so far this season, to return to the first team in order to beat Valencia. We expect a very even game and a good performance from both teams. Now, on to the recent transfer rumours. Liverpool are clearly interested in the Salzburg forward Minamino and will be looking to buy him in January. He has a release clause of just 7.5 million euros and clearly suits Jurgen Klopp's number 9 role. Moreover, he is just 24 years old and has a little more pace to offer than Firmino. He will be a perfect backup for him, and with this price in the current market, it will indeed be a very smart buy for Liverpool. Moving on to another Salzburg striker, Halland and Sancho has been linked with a move to Dortmund in January. Other reports also claim that Man United are also keeping an eye out for him and might activate his release clause of 17 million euros. Reports from England even go on to say that Man United is his personal choice and he will be very happy to join them in January. There are also rumours going on about Jadon Sancho, again linking him to the big Premier League sides. But it's not really possible to narrow down the actual ones. Different reports claim different things, and maybe with time we will ultimately get a picture how this transfer saga will ultimately unfold. That's about it for tonight, guys. Thank you as always for joining me, and please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay tuned to the channel for the upcoming videos and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.